I think to me, the emphasis that you need to look at is the issue of the African dimension. So we must also think beyond individual countries, which part of this particular conference is about that. So Africa needs a stronger regional cooperation in construction education. So these opportunities just to develop common approaches to construction skills, qualification, professional recognition, research collaboration, and mobility of construction professionals. So I may guess some of you here, they are registered so with some institution outside the African continent. But it's quite difficult to register with institution within the African continent. If I'm in South Africa, there's the South African Academy of Science. It would be difficult if you are not from South Africa to register, if you have not worked from South Africa to register. But outside organization, outside Africa, they just look at your competence, they look at other things, and then they're able to register you. I think maybe one of the issues that we need to look at ourselves is around the Swaka area. So also African universities, we should collaborate on research addressing African construction challenges rather than relying on exclusivity on models developed elsewhere. So our research should ask questions such as, how do we build affordable housing at a scale? How do we reduce infrastructure delivery costs? So how do we improve productivity in African construction? How do we develop sustainable local construction material? Then we continue to look at the other issue because we're talking about the issue of construction here. How do you support small contractors to grow? How can construction become a stronger engine for youth employment? As many countries, many African countries, they face the problem of youth employment. These are not merely academic questions, they are developmental questions. Construction education must become more inclusive. We must also address the participation of women, young people, historically unrepresented communities in construction. The future of construction workforce must reflect the diversity of African society. So this means creating pathways for women, young people to enter not only technical occupation, but also construction management, engineering, architect, quantity surveying, project leadership, entrepreneurship, and senior decision making. So inclusive should therefore be embedded into curriculum design, workplace learning, enterprise development, and procurement strategies. So this new model of construction education that I'm talking about, so would propose that we think about construction education through 5 interconnected pillars. First, it must be knowledge. Students must understand the theory and principle of construction. Secondly, competence. Students must be able to apply knowledge in practical environment. So the third one is around the issue of innovation. Students must be able to develop new approaches and also in terms of technologies. The fourth one is around the issue of entrepreneurship. I think there was a presentation on entrepreneurship. So what we need to do, students must be able to convert skills and ideas into viable enterprises. So the fifth one is around the social impact. Graduates must understand that construction is ultimately about improving people's lives and building sustainable communities. So one of the things that perhaps in the conference we must take home, the most important message I would like to leave with the panel is that we need to change the mindset around employment. We should continue preparing students for employment, but we must also prepare them to identify opportunities and create employment. So what opportunity does this challenge present, and how can we develop that? So this is a mindset Africa needs. So what we need a construction education that should not be separated from African development. So therefore, the two issues in terms of construction education, we must not separate it from African development. So as we build every road, we build every house, we construct every school, we deliver every hospital, we establish, and every water and sanitation project we implement, we must create an opportunity for skill development, enterprise development, and employment opportunity. Thank you.
That's a very nice one. That shows he has seen it all, and the emphasis is more of enterprising, teaching our students to become enterprising, becoming entrepreneurs, to create their own jobs rather than to become job seekers. We want to move to, let's move to Zambia. Professor Erastus, he said a lot yesterday, but now from his experience, what do you have to say to see the built environment moving forward in the 21st century? Your remarks.
I'll start by giving a story and hope that people won't get me bored. So I was once appointed by the government of Zambia to negotiate with the Russian government to build a nuclear power station in Zambia. So we went to Russia and back, Austria and back several times. But then the physicists raised an issue and said, how are you sending someone with construction background to go and build a nuclear plant? I'm sure you understand their thinking. They wanted themselves to be the ones negotiating with the Russians. So it became a very big issue. Eventually, the Secretary to Cabinet was involved. But then he said something. He says, show me one doctor, medical doctor, who builds his hospital and then works in it. And there was no answer. And that's how the story ended. So that's one story. So the point we're making is when we speak built environment, sometimes we tend to restrict ourselves to things we know. The building, the house, the road. And we call that the built environment, and it is true. But then in Africa Continental Free Trade Area, the AFTA, the Africa we want 2063, says one of the critical components we need to do is to trade. And so at AU, the agreement was we block regions and force them to trade among themselves first. And when they are done, then they can expand, do a cross-region trading. So ECOWAS trades among itself, SADC trades among itself, ECA, and so forth. And then once we have understood how to trade among ourselves, then we can start cross-trading. So the question now is, what do we trade in? So they said, focus on food. Yeah, we can focus on food. But do you know that you cannot cross your goods from Zambia or Tanzania into Namibia without a GAP certificate, European GAP certification? I'm sure you may not know this, but you can't. So you are talking about trade. Yes, you have the roads, you have the rail, but the borders won't allow you to trade. So there are restrictions, and they have their own standards. And those standards apply to materials that she was talking about in the morning, and so forth and so on. To move materials from Kinshasa in Congo to Durban in South Africa by rail, it takes 39 days. Same trip by road, 6 days. The difference is that of the 39 days, 9 are for the traveling, but the remaining 30 are for logistical transitioning from border issues, paperwork, changing of rail sizes, from standard gauge to rail. So again, that's built environment, if you think about it. You're going to have to build same standard of line of rail. When we just arrived here, we saw people driving in the wrong direction. I almost got shocked. I saw a child driving, but it wasn't driving. It wasn't a child driving. He was a passenger. But because where I come from, we drive on the other side, so the driver was on the other side, and I saw a child sitting on the driver's passengers. So to me, a child was driving. And I panicked. But you see, standardization is critical to the built environment. So before we talk about, can I be employed, can I go and be employed in South Africa, can I be employed elsewhere? What are the standards? Prof here just said, if you don't work in South Africa, you can never be registered. And of course, there's a reason for that. You must understand the terrain for you to function. And so standardization is key. It's not just teaching books, paper, pen, materials. There's a lot of standardization. And once we understand that part, then it will be easy to become employable. One last comment I can make is, we've been talking about we need investors to build in our industry. Do you know that banks have a limitation of how much money they can receive? So if their shareholders, total shares are, say, $2 billion, that's how much that bank can receive. But remember, there are also depositors who are also debts. And so perhaps they'll end up with only a $50 million as a maximum amount of money a bank can receive. But for you to do heavy capital projects, you need injections of funds. But then funds have no platform on which they can land because the banks have a limit. So you now have to do what they investment bankers call syndication and stuff like that, where you borrow from different banks, put it together, so that when the money comes, it is distributed to different banks. So what developed nations now do, they come to invest in a country like Zambia or South Africa. They only bring money to pay salaries. Materials, they buy outside. Pay for whatever materials you need, equipment in Europe, in China. They are the ones who receive the actual cash because they have the platform to receive the cash. The actual money that eventually lands in your account is only for salaries. And then they are measuring total value of investment. You see that? So the point I'm making is we need to understand the entire value and commercial chain of how the system, the works, the economy works, the industry works. Otherwise, we'll teach built environment.
So thank you very much. So 2 things that I got from him was about standardization and the issue of easy movement. That can also help in the built environment. Let's go to female professor. Usually our built environment, in my class, when I did my national diploma at Cape Coast Polytechnic then, we were 65 men, 1 female. And ever since I've been teaching for the past 20 years in that same university now, the highest female that we have got in the class is 2. 2. Usually, I want to find out from Mommy, why is that women, it's difficult for them to get into the built environment, especially civil engineering, construction? What's the story?
Last 2 weeks, I went to do an assessment for undergraduate students in a private university. I did 31 students. I assessed them. No female. And I had to call the head of department. I said, what is happening? I said, don't you have any female in this class? Is it that the male chased them away or engineering is too hard for them? And that brings me to the question of, somebody did a presentation this afternoon here about higher secondary school coming to University of Ghana. He only did 20, and he found out that by the time every one of them is entering into the university, none of them want to do the STEM program. None of them. And one of the attributes was probably the kind of teacher that actually taught them in the secondary school. And I think for the female, I think one thing is that you just have to have the passion. That's where it starts from. You just have to have the passion. Gone are the days where parents will always want their children to read medicine, you must read law, you must read engineering. Those days are over. Most of these girls, they don't want anything that will stress them. They don't want any stressful, they don't want to do engineering drawing, they don't want to do mathematics, they don't want to do fluid mechanics. And some of them, they start up, but along the line, various forms of distractions, and then they fall by the wayside. I cannot actually speak for everybody. I can only speak for myself. And that's just the truth. I cannot tell why all the females in Pabi, but you find them in mechanical. While I was in school, I was the only female in class. But by the time we got to 300 level, other females started coming in through direct entry. Those days we had direct entry from 300 level and 200 level. And so we were 3 female that actually graduated at the end of the day. But honestly, it was rigorous. I used to tell my students, I said, let me tell you the truth. While I was in university, I never drew. I didn't like drawing. So I will always give it to somebody to draw for me. And at the end of the day, maybe during the weekend, we'll now sit down and then we'll now draw. Engineering was looking very rigorous, with so much formula. And you ask yourself, how do I cram these formulas? Engineering drawings there, how will I make my lines straight that I don't have double lines? And I will keep erasing, and I will cry, I will wet my A4 paper, I'm tired, I will just go and sleep. So, but the passion just have to be there. And then you must just have good tutors, teachers who will teach you to encourage you. Some of those days, a particular teacher will come, will just abuse you. All of you are nonsense, you never do, you are good for nothing, and go to your parents' house. So some of those things really put some of us away. But, well, thank God we're here. So that's all the
Thank you very much. So at least she has said it all. But before I go to Prof. Clinton, let me just go to Prof. Twala again on this women thing, because he has a success story. One of his students, a female, got the best award. I think he competed with 2 women. And that student got the best award just last week or so. Please, can you share your story with this young lady that you mentored?
No, actually, thank you. I think you're just putting me actually the spot. But maybe let me just comment on the women issue. I think one thing, I had an opportunity to just work in the mines, to work underground. I bet you I wouldn't allow a friend of mine or my children who are female to work underground. It's a rough environment. It's a rough environment. So some of the opportunities in the built environment, the reality of is we're coming with pressure from the Western world. They too must transform. Women must work in that area. There are some areas which are not good. You know, if underground, I'll tell you, by the time I enter there, we are sweating. We're writing on special papers. By the time we're going down 5 kilometers underground, so the time you enter, we are not even started work. We are wet. But you still need to work underground. I hope some of you must just go to the mine. We just work for 6 months and come and present here. You'll come with a different perspective. So I'm just saying, as we encourage women, you find in some other areas of construction, in the built environment, you find they're actually rough. Even some of us, we work there because we've got no choice. If we've got another choice, believe me, I was going to be a banker. I sit there as a banker. You know, I enjoy life there, echo and everything. So you go on site then. But irrespective of that, there are women who have taken a particular position to say, built environment is my life. I want to work. Hello? Irregardless of those particular problems, which are actually. So what's happening? I think there's a sabotage. Maybe somebody's sabotaging me. So I think in terms of answering question of the professor at the side, one particular thing that's I can tell in terms of those young academic, young scholars. So academic is about being patient. So you must focus and you must prepare yourself. I always say when you supervise, you need to prepare the student for the future, why they are still at the PhD level. Start them at master's level, PhD level. So by the time they come out, so I'll talk about this particular professor. So when he finished his PhD, it's one of the few. When he finished his PhD, he was ready for promotion. Because of the issues of university, he could go straight to associate professorship, straight from PhD. But you know that these particular gatekeepers themselves, you must be a senior lecturer, you go up like this thing. But I'm just saying, those areas were about the issue of preparation. Hey, welcome, Professor. Yeah, so I think it was about the issue of preparation. In terms of Professor Mashwama, who actually got an award, it was first award in terms of the Built Environment Academic Excellence Award. So it's actually one of our students, so whom we started at master's level to PhD level. So I think it's one of the issues, as I'm taking you, is about the issue of patience. So, and you need to build. So other people where I found young people, they get in a position without some grounding. If you don't have the grounding, believe me, you'll go with the laptop on holiday to the office, on Sunday to the office, because you cannot be able to cope the work. So with the particular work that you're doing. So what you need to do, so from my side, what I encourage is the issue just to make sure that everything, you become patient, and then you go step by step. I think academics is actually like that. So otherwise, in academic, if they parachute you sometimes, you find you are there, then you're going to find some problems out there. So in terms of Professor Mashwama, is actually one of the particular students, so who have been able, who choose the built environment as an area of specialization that they're going to work there. So we've been working with her so for quite some time, and he was able to get an award.
Thank you very much, Prof. Twala, for that insightful discussion. At least mentorship is very important to encourage young or female to get into the built environment. We'll be going to Prof. Clinton. As I said, Prof. Twala is a grandpapa. He produced Prof. Clinton. Prof. Clinton is a full professor. Prof. Clinton, which wants to speak? Prof. Clinton, he has produced him. Yesterday, I told you about his story. They were not here. When we started the ACA conference, Prof. Twala brought Prof. Clinton as a student. Yeah, that's the grandpapa. Good. And finally, he produced Prof. Clinton, now a full professor. Then Prof. Clinton also produced others, including myself. I'm the great-grandchildren of Prof. Twala. And the person that got their best award just last week, the female, yeah, said it, that was a student. And definitely, they are in great hands. Now, under individual just walked in, we introduced him after Prof. Clinton has said his own. Prof. Clinton is very good, or he has that passion on digitization, automation, and what have you, and that is where we are now. Prof, your experience in this field, you have moved around countries within Africa. What is the gap in terms of digitization in the built environment?
All right. Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. I think there's something there's something that always comes to my mind, and it's something that I think we should think about, because we're living in an era where everyone is using AI to make decisions. AI tells us what to do and all that. So some of the research areas we are pursuing at the moment is looking at issues of responsible usage, and at the same time looking at accountability, that when we use AI to make decisions, and those decisions, they didn't fall through, who will be responsible? Let's say a civil engineer, and let's say you use AI to design your beams and all that, and somewhere along the line, it collapses. Who is going to be responsible? Is it the project manager? Are you the one that will be responsible? Much more, is the professional indemnity insurance going to cover those particular areas? So this particular era we're living in, even as lecturers, I know we're increasingly seeing it to say academics are committing something they call it academic doping. It's like you are deliberately doing something that you know is wrong. So something that has been coming to my mind is that I think we need to do more research in this particular area, because I don't think we have the answers at the moment. I don't think we are there yet, because there's an increasing misconception to say that over time it is not going to affect people's cognitive reasoning, cognitive ability. Because you will agree with me that if those of us that did PhD before AI, and you were really immersed in that PhD, even though after 10 years, you can still be able to talk about your theoretical framework. You can still be able to talk about a lot of things. That doesn't mean we are more intelligent or you are more intelligent than anybody else. But there is a dimension that we need to kind of really know, that within the ambient of construction education, that we will end up regurgitating the same information without coming up with new solutions that will actually be able to define us. Yes, I agree. AI is helping to create new frontiers. And we don't just look at it from the construction education. If you look at it from the general profession generally, in the pharmaceutical industry, they realize that AI is actually helping to develop drugs for cancer at the moment, that even man have not been able to get the right mix, but the AI tools are actually telling them how to put together to actually get those drugs and all that. So, Prof. Moderator, what I want to quickly speak to is that I think there's a need for more research. So I just want to quickly share some area that probably if you're interested, you might want to look at it. I think we need to really do research on areas that relates to looking at from knowledge acquisition to knowledge judgment. Because we just acquire knowledge, we're not judging it. I think there is an opportunity to do research in that area where we can actually help students to move beyond recalling information to evaluating the information. This is an area I think we need to look at. How we acquire knowledge easily now, but are we losing our sense of judgment of this particular knowledge or information that we're acquiring? Secondly, I think within research, within the built environment relating to AI and all that, we also need to look at the changing construction competence. We talked about that a lot. The competencies are changing. In fact, I am an advocate of technology making life better, but some jobs are going to be lost. You know, there was something one of our students was playing around with some few days ago, where he just took a flyer and gave it to an AI tool, and the AI tool was singing, you would think it is a normal musician. The lyrics, the composition, and all that. So I know at the moment there's a whole lot of music that people listen to. They are written by AI. So I think for us, within this particular built environment, we also need to look at changing construction competencies. How will future professionals behave? What is going to be the AI literacy that will be required? Even the BIM we are talking about, digital twin and all that. These are fancy creations, fancy innovations. But beyond that, what is going to be the changing competencies? Are we still going to have a project manager in the future? Are we still going to have an architect on a project in the future? Also, looking at what Dr. Violet was talking about today, I think there is a need within the built environment and the construction education to look at curriculum redesign. We need to deliberately redesign our curriculum, because even though we are still fixated about teaching what we were taught, you go to some schools, what they were taught in 1985 is what they are still teaching their students now. And you tell yourself, are we really preparing our students for the future? I think there's a need to reconsider a redesign. Even how students are even taught, we also need that. Can we teach students now without AI? What is the expectation? I think there is a redesign. There's a need for redesign of our curriculum. You know, I remember back in the day, something we used to play around with in the department. We were having an accreditation, and one of the accreditation panelists was talking about that. Why are we not teaching our students cut and shuffle? And if you understand, as a concept about cut and shuffle, when you don't have computer, you will talk about cut and shuffle. If you don't have calculators, we talk about cut and shuffle and a whole lot of things. And at the end of the day, they were arguing things that the technological innovation at the most basic level had erased, even without thinking it too much. There was a need for it then, but there is no need for it now. I think there's a need for redesign. And also, the other thing that I know we are grappling with as academics looking at the built environment is assessment in the generative AI era. Are we really sure the way we are assessing our students in the built environment is the best way to assess them? The way we were assessed 60 years ago, 50 years ago, that is how we are still assessing our students. We give them tests, we give them assignments, we come to class, we teach them, they must sit down and listen to us. Is that going to be the way we are actually going to be teaching? And also, likewise, the assessment. The issue of traditional essays, report writing and all that, I'm not against it. But I'm just saying it is time for us to basically start thinking. The reason why I'm bringing this point of rethinking assessment design in generative AI era is that if you look at the automobile industry, the cars that you and I will drive, these cars are not made by hand. They are made by robots. Okay, if you look at the construction industry, we are not moving in terms of how we even construct our homes. Likewise, even our assessment. So we need to look at those assessments to say, the best way to assess a student, is it to write an essay? Is it for all of us to write the same exam? Even medicine is moving away now from administering the same medication to everybody. That's why you see the Casper technology. They're using it to really, really check, because they realize that even though the difference in our blood composition and that of a pig is 0.009, that's why the blood of a man and pig are very similar. To say that what works in this blood can work in that. The reason why I'm trying to explain this is that the same Panadol or the same paracetamol that can make me to sleep can give somebody else an insomnia. So if we bring that particular teaching, that particular knowledge into the built environment assessment to say, are we really assessing our students the way they should be assessed? Because some of them that face, the reason why I'm bringing is that you will see some students that got either a third class or they got a 2-1 or a first class. They will be the ones working, let's say you see some people that got first class, they will be the ones working for people that got a third class. So the question is that what did the third class guy learn in the class that the first class did not learn? Because the third class guy, as soon as he comes out, he's thinking of how to make money. Then the other one that basically was as intelligent as Abacha is looking for who to hire him. So I'm just bringing that in to say we need to look at our assessment in terms of how we assess our students in the built environment, because I believe that there's a lot of opportunities to actually make teaching very innovative in this particular era. There is virtual reality, there is a whole lot of video system, video gaming we can use to help them, but our lecturers are not even trained in these areas to even bring in those particular platforms into the classroom. So that's why at times you will see built environment students or construction education students, they don't come to class. They don't want to come to class and listen to somebody reading PowerPoint. It's boring. But these kids can stay on their computer for 4-6 hours without leaving the room. It's not an addiction. It's just basically learning process. So I think I can go on and on. The other research area we can also look at is relating to human-AI collaboration. How can man collaborate with AI? Collaborate with AI, human-AI collaboration. I think education needs to prepare graduates for work with AI, rather than simply teaching them to use AI tools. We're teaching them how to use AI tools. That's why one of the things I never liked back in the days is Turnitin, teaching students how to use Turnitin. It's like you're teaching them how to steal. You're basically saying, do what you can do, go and check Turnitin, then you basically know how to work around it. And at the moment, you have other AI tools to detect AI and all that. So the other thing we also need to look at, Prof. Chair, is that we also need to look at professional judgment and accountability, to say we need to basically do research in this area of professional judgment and accountability. When a mistake is made, most of our contract conditions in the industry, they don't have any clauses that relate to digitalization and all that. And we are not, even as construction professionals, we are not talking about it. And we are still administering this project, bringing in BIM and all that. If your BIM platform is hijacked by hackers and all that, who is going to pay the ransom? Is it the client? Is it the professional that brought the platform? So we need to start looking at those particular areas in terms of professional judgment and accountability, because they will happen. Because a BIM platform, in fact, is very exposed. Anybody can easily hack those systems and lock it. And if you don't want to release it, they will erase all the information you have there. What happened? I know you can say you have a backup on the cloud, not so easy to restore. I think the other last one I want to talk about is the role of ethics and academic integrity, in terms of appropriate AI usage, disclosure, and all that. And lastly, the changing role of the construction educator. I think as lecturers, as professors, we need to realize that we are increasingly becoming designers of learning experience. We are increasingly becoming designers of learning experience, mentors, and at the same time, trying to validate knowledge. So I think there's a need for alignment within the continent, within amongst ourselves, to actually ensure that we extend construction education. And I think more research in construction education, because I was just looking at this conference to say how many papers were on construction education and all that. Not just the use of AI, but critically on the pedagogy or the andragogy side, to look at how things have been done. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Prof. Clinton, for that. At least there's one word I took: knowledge judgment, rather than acquiring knowledge. So please, let us move towards that direction and let our students try to evaluate the knowledge that they have acquired or gathered. Good. So we want to move to our next presenter. Yesterday I told you a story. He was not here. I told you a story about mentorship, inspiration. A lecturer can kill your initiative, and a lecturer can support you. This gentleman was my lecturer at the polytechnic level, the higher national diploma. Then when I went to the university, my first degree, he became my lecturer. My master's, he was my lecturer and my supervisor, and he was the one that allowed this conference to survive. No other person than Professor Gabriel Nani. He happens to be the vice chairman of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors QS division, that is Queen Surveying. So in Ghana, he's our big man, our vice chairman here. Coming from the professional field, even though he's in academia, he's also a practicing professional as well. He has his consultancy firm. How can educators collaborate with professional bodies to make sure that at least what they are teaching the students, it will not be a mismatch with what will be in the industry? Prof.
All right. Thank you very much. And for the compliments, I think it's our duty to humanity to continue to mentor and to allow people to express themselves and achieve the highest potential of talent that is embedded in them. So we are happy Cedric has gotten this far. Coming to the issue itself, academia actually trains people or gives them the basic knowledge with the intention that they go out there and they're going to be professionals and practice with those who are practicing already. Each and every individual found on the professional landscape in practice actually went through the initial requirements of being trained academically. But strangely, you come to industry as fresh graduates, and a lot of seasoned professionals tend to say, you've not been trained enough, you've not gotten enough, and etc. That's it. But it should be a collaborative effort between industry and academia. Now, what is happening, I can speak for KNUST, and then I can also specifically speak for the Institution of Surveyors in Ghana and similar institutions in the built environment. We try to have a lot of collaboration now. So you find seasoned professionals, practicing professionals, coming into the classroom to interact with students before they graduate. There are courses that have been designed, typical among them, we call integrated project or practice, which can be construction practice, project management practice, and etc., where students are allowed to work in a sort of industry environment as professionals and then come out with products such as contract documents, drawings, designs, and etc. And then industry professionals are invited to be part of a panel that review these outputs and give students feedback real time. So they get to interact with them. They get to point out to them aspects of what they have studied that they couldn't present well in their project, and they tend to point out to them issues in industry that needed to be addressed in academia, and etc. In so doing, students tend to see what is happening in industry where there are shortfalls in skills and etc., so they can fill those gaps. At the same time, faculty is also observing and listening to professionals from industry, what they are expecting, what the practice is, and how it can be linked to what is being taught in the classroom. And then we also get to identify the shortfalls in the curriculum, so we begin to fix these shortfalls. So that's how it's being addressed. And the professional institutions, for example, tend to look for opportunities for students for attachment, for internship, and etc. They flow this around on their platforms to offices that have opportunities for students and so on. The other thing that the professional institutions are also pursuing well in the universities is student professional bodies. So they have student bodies that relate directly to the professional institutions. So they try to have a sort of, I wouldn't call it CPD because they are not yet professionals, but they try to teach them some practical skills that otherwise they would have known about or acquired in industry. So this is what is happening currently. And I'm sure a lot of the technical universities and probably outside Ghana might also be learning from it in order to practice similar.
Right. Thank you very much, Prof, for that. So we want to wrap up. I think we said we don't want to do 1 hour, but I think the discussion is interesting. So we want to wrap up with just 30 seconds. Our take home. Let me start from.
Okay. Our take home is we need the industry people to be part of our curriculum. We need them to contribute to our curriculum. Let them tell us what they need. Let them tell us what they are looking for. we add it to our curriculum so that we teach our students. And so when our students get to the final year, they become employable graduates. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. And I think for me, it's about, first of all, appreciating what is the built environment. Once we understand what is the built environment, then we'll know that it's too broad. It's banking, building, construction, consultancy. It's very broad. So once we understand that, then it's easier for us to develop the curriculum that will not just build one who works, I know the themes of a job creation, but also one who can develop a firm or consultancy or business and be an entrepreneur. Because if we just train for for working, then we will leave a gap where people will not have a place to work because they haven't created the environment. So for me, that's the major take home. Train not just for teaching or for working, but also train for industry development.
Yeah, I think for me, I always say that the best way to create the future or to predict the future is to create it. So I would say keep doing your research, don't give up wherever you are. Just know that you are work in progress. Keep doing something, and at the end of the day, you become better. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think from my side, I think the issue I emphasize is the issue of mentorship and the issue of collaboration. So those are key. So without those issues being mentored, I know when we're at school, when we entered industry, we're told we don't have experience. When we're in the industry, we're also told those who are new, the education is not good. So, but even all in the system, once you enter industry, you see somebody who is still a student. When he comes, is not competent. But I think the collaboration that we need to take, it should be collaboration. It must be invested collaboration, collaborating with the industry. So collaborating with government, collaboration with the professional bodies, and collaboration with the community. So we must understand. So the research is supposed to be across. Because when even the research is at the university level, it doesn't talk to the other structures up to the community, we find we're actually losing it. So therefore, to me, I think emphasis is around the issue of mentorship and the issue of collaboration. Thank you.
All right. The Professor Grandpa has spoken, and it does appear same words he used are those that I wanted to use as well: collaboration, mentorship. But with mentorship, I think we need to pay attention to the fact that the young people we have and we are training are very talented and can be quite innovative. And they are born in an era where technology is advancing so fast. And to some extent, and sometimes, or a lot of times, they are technologically more skilled than those of us teaching and mentoring them. Let's begin to also understand how they want to go so we can direct them to what will be more beneficial in the industry. But to be able to do that effectively, of course, I want to still emphasize mentorship and collaboration with all stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that is all. So we got the word, or the words, industry needs support. Industry needs to support the curriculum development, job creators and industry development, create the future, keep doing something, mentorship and collaboration, and mentorship once again. Thank you very much for being part. We want to acknowledge our online participants who joined us, Professor De Graft, Misheng'u. We also I have Professor Aaron from, currently, I don't know, Professor Aaron, you are still in Mauritius. I thought you are in South Africa. Then we have Professor Mojeku, then Surveyor Obed also have joined, then Dr. Simon Amatepe, and a host of others together with Dr. Theodora. Thank you very much all. And at this point, this is how I want to end this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Emmanuel Banfueji. On these professorial remarks.
Probably can have a group picture for the panel members. Let's do the group picture downstairs. Panel members.
So please, as they come for the group picture, please join me to once again appreciate Professor Clinton Agbabua from the University of Johannesburg, South Africa, Professor Wellington Twala from South Africa, Professor Erastus Misheng'u from University of Zambia, Professor Olatokunbo Ofuyatan from Covenant University, Nigeria, and our own Professor Emmanuel Banfueji from the Cape Coast Technical University. Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you so much, Professor.
afternoon, senior colleagues, our dearest future hope. This is just to introduce us to a conference that is coming up in October, 6th to 7th of October, here at UG. The conference is about, the theme is Education for Transformation in a Changing World. And we have the themes and the sub-themes. Although you see the date there to be the deadline for submission of abstracts, supposed to be 15th of August, but we've shifted it forward to give opportunity for you to submit abstracts. So you are very much welcome to UG again in October. Help us talk about this. Most of the sub-teams there are in education, but we have opportunity to present something on AI, on digital literacy. I mean, when you send the abstract, we read through and see where it can fit in. Or if you are able to indicate it yourself, where you want it to be, then we assess it and see what can be done. It is at the school level. I'm for Department of Teacher Education, Mathematics Unit, but we are under the School of Education and Leadership, which is a school within the College of Education because of the three-tier system. And of course, we are in UG. So if you send anything to this, it is our second Cell Biennial International Conference, 2026. We have the first one 2 years ago. I'm a co-chair for the planning committee. We have 3 chairs. We have the principal chair, who is, should I say, a retired dean of the school. And then Dr. Adamba, who is in charge of LISEP for University of Ghana. Anything that has to do with LISEP in education, College of Education, he is in charge. And I have the privilege of being made a co-chair. So we are working tirelessly to make it a big conference. When we had it 2 years ago, there are many issues that came up. So we are believing God that this time around, we are going to have more issues, because the more we keep rubbing minds together, the more we generate new ideas, new skills. And 2 years ago, even though AI was already there, but not to the level we have it now, the awareness is great now, and we continue to look for ways of improving, and also have to carry along our students in mentorship, leadership, scholarship, and in commitment to advancement of knowledge for the betterment of the society. So we cannot wait to have you. Our colleagues from Nigeria, from Gambia, from Uganda, from South Africa, from all over Africa, please, you are very much welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Sister Professor Florence, for your presentation. Please, as we await for the certification or certificate, we'd like to have you share your experiences with us so far. So I'll be going around. Can we please respectfully start with Professor Sokoto, your experience for this 2-day conference?
Well, the experience is quite impressive. Right from the arrival at the airport, the courtesy of the airport staff, the LOC, Prof was there. Our plane was behind schedule about 2 hours, but he stood at the airport waiting for us. This afternoon, I was informing him that this is the best LOC so far I have seen in the conference. And within these few days we spent, Ghana becomes a second home for us. And we look forward to coming for the conferences in Ghana in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Our faculty and respected professors from South Africa, can you please share some of your experiences with us? Dr. Matthew.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity. This is my second attendance for this conference. The very first was in 2023. I would say the tempo is being kept up to. You've been improving. But I would want to implore the organizers to see situations whereby you can expand the inclusion of physical participation. Because if you ask me what were the papers presented online in this conference, I have no idea. So I would say having more physical participation would help drive the improvement of the conference. And but overall, it's been good, and I wish you guys all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. We want to, because we were talking about inclusivity, I want our dear ladies to please add your voice to the experiences. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. Honestly, I am very grateful. I want to thank God for the opportunity to be here. The experience is worthwhile. At least, like Professor Sokoto said, I have seen a crop of disciplined people here. You are well behaved, and then Professor Ima, very patient man. Some of us will tell him this and call him and change this and change this. He doesn't show that he is tired or angry. He's always doing it, and he carries everyone along. On a general note, it's a privilege to have seen people from Zambia. When I got to know that it takes 6 hours on air to come here. It is a worthwhile experience. So at least I have not been to Zambia, but I have come across a Zambian and people from South Africa and other places. I look forward to having this experience too. It's just that I can see that most of our professors are professional people. I want to plead that more of the academicians should be included. The reason is we cannot do away with the source because they are in charge of direct training. Before you become whatever you are in your particular profession, the core education, as the core educators should be considered because we want to see them, we want to hear them talk of methodology. How do we do it? Yes, suggestions have been made. How do we go about it? What are we doing? How do we do it differently? Because some of us, like you have talked about mentorship, that's just why I'm here. I'm not here to show that I know anything. I'm here to learn. But it has not touched my own very part well, because at the center of that, I pray, I know we will improve. Thank you very much. Sorry, I want to add up something. When a question was asked about females in such professions, Prof, you are lucky. You are from the southern part of Nigeria. And you know that in the north, females, even the education, the normal one, let's say the basic exposure is a battle. Most people are still backward in understanding that a female needs to be educated. Up till now, there are families, there are homes because of lack of literacy or exposure. They don't even believe that it's worthwhile for a female to be educated in the first place. Talk more of going for a special profession like yours. So these are the gaps. I pray that this collaboration and avenues such as this will continue to expose us more. Once again, I appreciate Mrs. Rita Kumfi from Jos Plateau State.
Thank you so much for sharing your valuable experience with us. We want to now call on the GRASAC president for Cape Coast State University, the person of Emmanuel Asante, to give us or share his experience with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Prof. Chair, on all other protocols already observed, I think this is a well-structured program. Personally, I have attended, and it's my first time. Also, I'm really inspired meeting professionals, researchers, because it's not very easy to meet, let's say, Professor Clinton, to be in the same room with him, sharing his experience. It's not, I've heard his name over and over on our campus, but meeting him today, I'm really pleased. So generally, I'll say that it's a nice program, and we need more on our campuses. Thank you.
Thank you so much, GRASAC president. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable experience with us. We want to call on Matilda. I think this is the first time of her experiencing a conference like this, for her to share her experience with us. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm glad to join this conference, and it's my first time joining a conference like this. And when our professors were talking about their research papers, I had insights on how to conduct some certain things. We are currently doing our project work, and we had I got some ideas and understanding from our professors, yes. And I'll be glad to join more conferences like this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. At this very critical moment, we want to please respectfully invite Professor Kwaku Daku Aponsan to please announce the best researcher. I think that's the moment we've been waiting for. Professor, please announce to us.
So before Prof will do that, let's do another thing first. This time, we had 3 keynote speakers, so we want to say thank you to them first. Then Prof will now come on there. So the first on the list is Professor Erastus. So Prof, you step down. Yes, then the scientific chairman will present this plaque to you, some writings. I hope you can see. Prof, you have to use your glasses, but you can go down. Let's go down and do that. At least we say thank you very much for coming. Prof, will you need my glasses? Okay. Now the computer has spoiled my eyes. So Prof, you can step down and do that for him. Okay, good. Thank you.
Professor Erastus, you've completed for me.
Yeah. Erastus Misheng'u Mwanaumo.
Thank you. I didn't want to castrate this one. For exemplary leadership in advancing technology, transfer, innovation, commercialization, and entrepreneurship in higher education. Your commitment to turning research into products, businesses, and societal impact sets a benchmark for excellence. Aligned with SGS standards of quality and impact, we of Cedric 2026 present you this award. Congratulations, Professor.
I need to protect it before it breaks. Yeah, it's an honor, and of course, a privilege to be here. And I want to thank the organizers, yourself as chair, the people that converged and started this conference, and to see it grow, and it's our intention that it grows even bigger and crosses the entire Africa. So we'll soon host this conference in Zambia. And I want to thank you to continue doing what you have always been doing.
Most welcome.
Thank you very much, the chairman for the scientific committee, Professor Lawrence Atepo. We are most grateful. Then the next one, we want to call on Professor Twala. He happens to be the vice chairperson for the scientific committee to do us the honor to present this. We call on Professor Olatokunbo to step forward. Professor Olatokunbo.
Okay, I'll say good evening, because in South Africa, people are sleeping now. Okay, Professor, is it Olatokunbo M Ofuyatan of the Covenant University, Nigeria. So Leadership Awards, say Child Girl Education Engineering aligned with SCG Principle of Excellence. So it's presented to Professor Olatokunbo M Ofuyatan for exemplary leadership in promoting mentoring and creating opportunities for the girl child in engineering. Your work embodied quality, equity, and the pursuit of excellence, given to August 20 to 22, year 2026. So before you break it,
Before
you break it, just few words.
Yes, I really want to appreciate everyone in this conference. I'm drawn to tears, but I will hold the tears back because I'm from a very, very humble family. I started in a humble way. But I want to encourage someone today. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep being good. Be hardworking. Be focused. And be diligent. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Twala and Professor Olatokunbo. The last on the list is Dr. Violet. This, I think, she is very passionate when it comes to education. And so we want to call on Reverend Sister. In fact, Reverend Sister doesn't like Professor. Anytime she sends message, Reverend Sister, she wants to put the professor down. I think she is very close to God. Professor, Reverend Sister, please step forward and do us the honor.
Thank you.
Dr. Violet Makuku, for exemplary leadership in promoting quality, compliance, and best practices in line with SGS global standards. Your vision and dedication continue to raise the bar for quality assurance across industries. August 2026 from 20th to 22nd. Congratulations.
Thank you, the organizing committee, for the opportunity to share. Sometimes you have a lot and you need an audience, you need to pass on a lot of knowledge, skills, and information. But I also want to thank all those who believe in this conference. This is the 15th one, but we are going on and it continues to grow, to grow. When you go back, tell others to join the 16th one because you have witnessed this one. It's important. Be initiators. What you have brought from here to your institutions, some of the things apply even in your homes. Please go and share in departmental meetings, in faculty meetings, and within the working community so that you can initiate some improvements, transformation, change that is so relevant for us today. Without people who speak up and proffer ideas and solutions, we can't win. We don't want people in meetings to yawn, open their mouths only when yawning or drinking water or eating. Let's open our mouths to contribute to the development of our continent's education. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doc and Prof. At this point, we want to call on Professor Kweku Dakwa-Aponsa to declare the overall best researchers, because we have 2 trophies. Usually we give 1, but by the kind courtesy of Dr. Violet, who has sponsored this year's Best Researchers Award. In fact, she sponsored 3. So we are going to get 3. But we are getting 2 now from Professor Aponsa to announce. Then we'll know who the 3rd person will be. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much, Prof. In fact, before I make the announcement, I want to make just 2 comments. Comment number 1. Yesterday, and even throughout our presentations, we spoke about CESA 2026 to 2035. CESA is Continental Education Strategy for Africa. And one of the strategies, I think there are about 6, if Doctor, I'm right, one of the strategies is gender and inclusion. And I'm happy to say that it has shown in these awards. Yesterday, we got a lady as the best PhD presenter. And today, we got a gentleman. So you see the gender inclusion thing I was talking about. And then I want to also make another comment. We said, and we've been saying it, that there are no jobs. We mentioned that in every year, according to African Development Bank, when you go to the job markets, African youths, only 3 million out of the 12 million will be taken to maybe have some jobs to do. What about the remaining 9 million? And then Reverend Sister brought her students. They made a beautiful presentation, and it created opportunity for them. Let's give them a clap of That was what we were saying yesterday, that if there are no jobs, then we should help them to be able to create something for themselves. And we mentioned AI and all those things. And that's exactly what they have done. And I believe that next year they will join us because we'll be having it here again. They will join, and more students will join us, and they will not leave the same. All right. The female comes from the University of Johannesburg. And she is in the person of Beverly Bonsu Akumia. Yeah, the title of the research is Beyond Concrete, Evaluating Stakeholder-Driven Strategies for Mitigating Urban Wetland Certification in Ghanaian Cities. She is a PhD student at the University of Johannesburg. Yeah. She's online because of a few challenges, but she's with us. Okay, so if she can hear me, I'll give her the opportunity to speak. Beverly, can you hear me? Beverly. Okay, let's get into so Beverly, you are muted. Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, so I think we'll get back to Beverly shortly. We're having a problem with the sound. Yeah, so Prof, you can do the second one. Yeah, she's on, but we cannot hear it, so they are sorting out the sound. Okay, so let's do the second one. We'll get back to Beverly.
Thank you very much, Prof. Our male PhD winner. He is also from the university. Yeah, he's from the University of Cape Coast. Yeah. I read his topic. Energy tax, industrialization and carbon emissions, rethinking green fiscal policy in sub-Saharan Africa. And his name is Isaac Ajna Buedu. Congratulations. Okay. Okay. Prof, please come and. This is just by way. Dr. Makuku, when Reverend Sister hugged you, I nearly addressed you as a Reverend Sister Dr. Makuku because you took all the anointing.
Come forward and say something. Normally, when you have first class, you come up.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. I thank the organizers for the opportunity given to me. I didn't do this alone. This was done by myself and my co-authors. So I dedicate this to my co-authors. I also thank the professors and the researchers here for the constructive critique to shape the paper. I am most grateful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If we are going to Zambia next year, we could have given you a free flight ticket to Zambia. But don't worry, you come here free of charge in Ghana. Thank you. We are most grateful for that. So at this point, we want, please, is the volume okay now for Beverly? Okay, while she work on that, let's go to the most innovative research work ever seen in this year's section. And so that one is a special award, and Professor Twala happened to be the best researcher in South Africa for, I think, 2 years ago. 2 years ago. He's a celebrity. The entire South Africa, he was the best when it comes to innovation. So he will be, good to have presented the most innovative research for this year. So, Prof, please, you can step forward and do the honor and give this cap, which is donated by Dr. Violet Makuku. We will call on the students of University of Ghana. They produce STEM research where it is applied, and now it has become a business venture for them to use. So these are first year student, BSc students in mathematics education. Manager, yes, manager can join. Manager, congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah, good evening to everyone and to our distinguished professors. We want to use this opportunity to first thank God Almighty and thank our facilitator, our lecturer, Reverend Sister Professor Awoni, for giving us the insight to think and explore and not to stay or limit our mind to the class. So we thank Reverend Sister. And we are thanking her also for the opportunity to come to a conference like this. We were not supposed to, but due to her privileges, we've been able to get a spot. So thank you, Reverend Sister. We are grateful.
Thank you so much, Prof. We now call on Professor Emmanuel Banfoeje to please present the certificates of participation. Please, let's appreciate Professor Banfo as he comes. Thank you. Thank you.
So that's fine. Thank you very much. So usually what happens is that for certificates, we try to give gifts to those who arrived on time. And the gift is a chocolate. And this chocolate, you can't get it anywhere than Ghana. And it is the best chocolate in the world. Yes. So we have, and interestingly, those who came early were our international delegates. They arrived a day to the event. You didn't come early. Beatrice, you didn't come early. Even Professor Erastus and Professor Clinton and Douglas and Co. arrived 2 days before the conference. So definitely we want to call on, let's start for the first one before we do the certificates. We'll call on Professor Bello Sokoto. Professor Bello Sokoto, we'll do the certificate there. So we'll be doing presentation of your chocolates.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you.
God bless you.
Very good. And this chocolate is good for the heart. Yes, very good for the heart.
Right. Thank you very
We'll call on Dr. Bakari. Good. They have a unique award. Thank you very much. We call on Rita Kumife. Or she's Nanaya. We call on Nanaya. Congratulations. Then we call on Kwame. Wait, no, Kwame is Erastus. No, let's go to what was your Ghanaian name yesterday? Which day were you born? Oh, Kwame, come, Kwame. Good. Good. Thank you. Congratulations. Then Dr. Gregory, which day were you born? Kwame too. Good. Kwame. Good. Congratulations, Kwame. Then where's our other? Okay, so Ethel is there. So let's go to Douglas. Professor Douglas. Professor Douglas, which day were you born? Which day were you born? Monday. Kojo. Good. Professor Kojo. Yes. The certificate maintainer is also Kojo. So he said I should give you double. Congratulations. Good, Kojo. Matthew, which day were you born? Dr. Matthew? Kweku bra. Kweku bra. Kweku bra. Kweku, good. Congratulations. Congratulations. Good. Thank you very much. Then Abena, you should not listen to her anymore. Auntie Abena, Dr. Chinwe, Abena, bra. Your name is Abena. Right, you remember? Congratulations. Congratulations. Then we have my good friend, Lapes. Which day were you born? Which day? Yes. Tuesday. Tuesday, bra. Kwabna bra. Kwabna, good. He's a Ghanaian, no, but he happened to be in South Africa by mistake. Oh, Prof. Tala will forgive me. Congratulations. Yes, congrats. Good. Cheers. Good. Thank you very much. Now, I saw Prof. Clinton there. I don't know. Prof. Which year were you born? Oh, you see. Apparently, Kobna is his deputy. I don't know why they should choose the same day. So, Prof, please. Congratulations. Congratulations. No. Prof, you said we should do judgment knowledge. Congratulations. Okay, Prof. Thank you. Good. Then let's call on Kwame from Zambia. Kwame, please. Kwame and Nanama, yes, you do it from there. Kwame and Nanama, probably the chairman will do it for you. This is Kwame and Nanama. Nanama is joining online today. Good, so the two of them, yes. Kwame and Nanama. Prof. Tola, which day were you born, Prof? Prof. Tola is a Ghanaian, no? He comes to Ghana virtually every month. He's a Ghanaian. Prof, which day were you born? Yes. Oh. I think that's good because my mom told me that she went to the hospital on Friday, but she gave birth somewhere in the midnight. So I don't know whether it was Friday or Saturday. I think that's the answer that she is giving us. Okay, so we'll call on Professor Aposa to do this honor for us. No, yes. He was giving me one. Good. So we call on that is Nanaya. Nanaya is here. Nanaya, very good. Nanaya remembers the name. Nanaya. Good. So we call on I think sister should come and do this. Yes. We want women empowerment. So sister, you can come over. Aha. Ẹ káàbọ̀ o. A dúpẹ́ o. O ṣé o. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. As for Dr. Vale, she's a Ghanaian. Dr. Vale, do you want chocolate? You have eaten chocolate plenty. Do you want chocolate? Hey. Or the chocolate will be quality assurance. We call on the chairman to present this to our own. Thank you. All right, so thank you very much. So at this point, we have our certificates, but just for picture taking, we'll do it very fast with that, especially with our international delegates. So when we call your name, just step forward and come over and get your certificate. So we call on Obri Kweku Asiedu from University of Johannesburg. So we'll call on Prof. Douglas. Please come and do the presentation of the certificate for us. Prof. Douglas. For picture taking. Please. Cameraman, come closer. It's like come bigger. Come closer. Okay. So, Prof. Douglas, remain there. Then we'll go to Dr. Chinwe, that is Abena. Sister Abena, please. Good. So we'll do the next one, will be Dr. Gregory. Dr. Gregory, yeah. Then the next one goes to Rita. Rita Kumfe. That is Nanaya. Nanaya, Rita. Good. Nanaya. You always fail, Prof. You do receipt. Okay, so we go to Kwame Johnson. Kwame. Good. Okay, good. Then the last is Professor Mohamed Bello Sokoto. Then Prof. Douglas Zongo, you become a recipient. Good. So we'll now call on Professor Nani. Please, Professor Nani, this one, come and do the honor to present. Then get ready, Dr. Matthew. Get ready to step forward to get yours. Dr. Matthew. Good. Dr. Matthew, please, Dr. Matthew. Good. Get ready, Kobina. Hey, Kobina, where are you? Kobina, where are you? Are you? Kobina, bra, Lapes. Dr. Lapes. You are Kobina. Doc, please. Thank you. Good. Please, for those online, we will send yours virtually. Next time you come physically. You don't come online. You eat online food. You take online certificates. Everything will be online. Thank you. Kobina. Yeah? Yes. Kobina, I won't say that one. Good. Okay. Dr. Ethel is in a, or the husband will come and pick for, you go with it. Okay. He doesn't want to do exercise. Okay. Prof, still remain there. Now let's go to Professor Florence. Professor Florence, please. Prof, please, you can add this one to it. Then. Good, thank you. So we go to Che Bafo. Che. Aaron, get ready. Aaron, Degbe, is Aaron there? Okay. So Beatrice, you come and take for Aaron very soon. Eh? Okay, let's go to, that is, this online. Let me yeah, Dr. Kwame, our Dr. Michael, our MC. Where's our MC? MC is here. Is Stephen around? Stephen Teku? Yeah, Stephen. From University of Education. Isaac Buedi. Isaac Buedi. Isaac, yeah. Dr. Bakari. Sorry, I forgot. I gave chocolate. I thought I'd give you certificate. Well, you take chocolate and leave certificate. Good, Dr. Bakari. Good. All right, so we go to the next. Is our online. Engineer Dr. Muhammad Zibila. Followed by Emmanuel Asante. Yeah. Good. Followed by Emmanuel Kikali, eh? Hey, Kikali, I need it. I'll give it to you then. Okay. All right, so Prof, you can, yeah, you give it to. So we'll call on the next person to present for us. So the next person that we want to call will be Professor Aponsan. Please step forward. Get me the certificate in that room. Please, Prof, just wait there. Okay, what we'll do is that because of time, for picture taking, we'll just assume that I don't delay our time. Because of picture taking, just take a picture and we'll sort it out. Anani. Yes, you can leave to Prof. Just to take that. Anani. So yes, yes. All right, so what we'll do is that we'll call on the current LOC chairman, Professor Ofuyatan Okrain, to do a handing over baton to our new LOC chairman for 2027. Please, Professor Ponsan, step forward. So the Department of Teacher Education would be hosting next year's conference, this same venue. So we'll start now. Prof. Aponsan will be is going to be the LOC chairman, supported by Reverend Sister as a vice. So, Prof. And where is Dr. Priscilla? Come here. So they will put up the rest of the team members. So, University of Ghana, the department will be hosting next year's conference. In 2028, Professor Erastus has mentioned Zambia, but we'll see Zambia or South Africa where to go. Thank you. 2027, we are University of Ghana. Thank you. So, Prof, LOC Chair, anything that you want to say?
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity given to us. I'll work with my able assistant, Reverend Sister Professor Awuni. Yesterday, I told you that the School of Education and Leadership is just 10 years old, and she's the first female professor in the whole School of Education and Leadership. She's very hardworking. You've seen her work, and I believe that she will support me to deliver even more than what has been done this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Kweku Daku Aponsan from the University of Ghana, Legon. Thank you so much. Please, at this critical moment, I want you to please respectfully join me in invite the chairman for the scientific committee, the person of Professor Lawrence Atepo, to please give us his closing remarks. Professor.
Thank you.
Will there be a photo of things? Because. Oh, okay.
Okay, so the chairman can speak and you do the vote of thanks. And you add everything inside.
Sorry. How do I start? Do I say Aiko to all of us? Yes. Members of the scientific committee, both present and those unavoidably absent, distinguished professors and scholars, researchers and practitioners, our esteemed participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is with profound gratitude, a deep sense of accomplishment, and considerable optimism for the future that I stand before you this evening to deliver the closing remarks of the 15th Sustainable Education and Development Research Conference. For the scientific committee, this has been much more than the conclusion of another academic gathering. It has been a celebration of scholarship, an exchange of ideas, a meeting of minds, and above all, a reaffirmation of our collective responsibility to use research and education as instruments for transforming lives and advancing sustainable development across Africa. This year's conference was organized around a theme that is both timely and compelling: equitable quality education, a strategy to promote lifelong learning for all. The theme has challenged us to look beyond education as merely the acquisition of qualification. It has invited us to consider education as a continuing process of human development, one that must be accessible, relevant, inclusive, innovative, and responsive
to the changing needs of our society. Ladies and gentlemen, throughout this conference, we have witnessed the remarkable breadth and depth of research being conducted across our continent. The program brought together scholars and researchers from Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, Zambia, Rwanda, Tanzania, Malawi, and beyond. This continental participation demonstrates that the challenges confronting education and sustainable development are shared challenges, and that their solutions must increasingly be informed by African knowledge, African research, and African collaboration. I believe the discussions of the past days have demonstrated that we are not short of ideas, talent, or intellectual capacity. What we must strengthen is our ability to translate knowledge into policy, policy into practice, and research findings into measurable improvements in the lives of our people. Our scientific program has been particularly rich. We have engaged with questions of educational quality frameworks, curriculum development and review, assessment and evaluation, teaching quality assurance, student service standards, international quality benchmarking, e-learning quality standards, STEM education, sustainable construction education, artificial intelligence education, and entrepreneurship education. These are not isolated academic themes. They are interconnected pillars of the education systems that we require to prepare for our young people for a rapidly changing world. We have also had the opportunity to interrogate the implications of artificial intelligence and digital technologies for education, including AI-driven learning, digital competence, mobile learning, augmented and virtual reality, algorithmic transparency, and the emerging relationship between artificial intelligence and the future of work. At the same time, our researchers reminded us that technological advancement must not cause us to lose sight of the human being at the center of education. Technology must serve humanity. Education must empower humanity, and development must dignify humanity. That is my view. That, in my view, is one of the most important messages emerging from this conference. Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote presentations and scientific sessions have also reminded us that quality education cannot be separated from employment, entrepreneurship, innovation, and sustainable development. The panel discussion on the relevance of continental education strategy for Africa in job creation brought this relationship into sharp focus. We must therefore rethink education not simply as preparation for employment, but as preparation for productive citizenship, entrepreneurship, innovation, problem solving, and lifelong adaptability. Similarly, our other discussion on construction education curriculum in job creation in Africa demonstrated the importance of aligning curricula with the realities of our economies and demands of industry. These conversations are particularly important for Africa, where millions of young people enter the labor market every year. If education does not equip them with relevant knowledge, practical skills, creativity, and the capacity to continuously learn, then we risk producing qualifications without opportunities and graduates without sustainable livelihoods. The message is therefore very clear. Our universities and other educational institutions must become engines of knowledge creation, innovation, employability, entrepreneurship, and sustainable development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as chairman of the scientific committee, I wish to acknowledge the impressive scholarly contributions presented during this conference. From research on AI and e-learning, teacher education and educational quality, to sustainable construction, renewable and solar technologies, digitalization, entrepreneurship, environmental sustainability, agriculture, water quality, human capital development, and the built environment. The beneath and breadth of research presented here demonstrates the multidisciplinary character of sustainable development. I am particularly encouraged by the participation of emerging researchers and postgraduate students. Their presence gives us confidence that the intellectual future of Africa is in capable hands. However, I would like to leave our researchers with one challenge. Let our research not end with conference presentations. Let our prayers and our papers travel beyond conference rooms. Let them influence policy. Let them inform curricula. Let them improve institutional practice. Let them create technologies and enterprises. Let them solve problems in our communities. And ultimately, let our research make a difference in the lives of ordinary people. Our conference documents indicate that selected papers are intended for publication in the African Journal of Applied Research, an index corpus journal. I therefore encourage authors to take seriously the opportunity to refine their papers, respond constructively to scholarly feedback, and ensure that the knowledge generated through this conference reaches the wider academic and professional community. Distinguished guests, a conference of this magnitude does not happen by accident. It is the product of vision, planning, sacrifice, collaboration, and commitment. On behalf of the scientific committee, I therefore express my profound appreciation to Professor Emmanuel Bamfweje, the chief houseboy, I call him, and the chairperson and members of the local organizing committee, particularly Professor Sophia Padi Okran and Dr. Ekuya Nkrumah, for the tremendous work that has gone into organizing this particular conference. I extend our sincere appreciation to the keynote speakers, distinguished panelists, session chairs, reviewers, presenters, and the moderator, and all members of the scientific committee. To our participating institutions and scholars from across Africa and beyond, we say thank you for bringing your scholarship, your experience, your questions, and your ideas to this conference. Your contributions have enriched the intellectual character of Cedric 2026. To the University of Ghana, we are grateful for providing this prestigious academic environment for the conference. To the technical and administrative teams, our online participants, support staff, and everyone who worked behind the scenes, we recognize your contribution. Much of your work may not have been visible from the podium, but it was essential to the success of this conference. And to every participant, I say, you are the conference. A conference derives its value and not merely from its program, but from the quality of the conversations it stimulates and the relationships it creates. I therefore hope that the friendships established here will become collaborations, that the collaborations will become research partnerships, and that those partnerships will generate knowledge and innovations capable of transforming Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, as we close this 15th edition, let us remember that lifelong learning is not merely a strategy, it is a culture that we must deliberately build into our institutions and our societies. The world is changing too rapidly for anyone to depend solely on what was learned yesterday. Artificial intelligence is transforming work. Digital technologies are reshaping classrooms. Climate change is redefining development priorities. Demographic changes are creating new social and economic pressures, and the demands of industry are continuously evolving. In such an environment, the most valuable education we can provide is not education that teaches people only what to think, but education that equips them with the capacity to learn, unlearn, relearn, innovate, and adapt. This is the essence of lifelong learning. And that is why equity and quality must go together. There can be no meaningful life learning with significant sections, when significant sections of society are excluded because of geography, gender, disability, poverty, inadequate infrastructure, or the digital divide. Quality without equity creates what? Privilege. Equity without quality creates opportunity without sufficient transformation. But equitable quality education creates the foundation for inclusive and sustainable development. Dear colleagues, the conference may be ending, but the conversation must continue. The sessions may close, but the research must continue. The presentations may end, but the partnership must begin. And when we return to our respective institutions and countries, may we not simply say that we attended CEDRIC 2026. May we be able to say, I came, I contributed, I learned, I connected, and I returned determined to make a difference. On behalf of the scientific committee, I thank all for making the 15th Sustainable Education and Development Research Conference a memorable scholarly encounter. May the knowledge we have generated here illuminate our classrooms, strengthen our institutions, inform our policies, empower our communities, and contribute to the more equitable, prosperous, and sustainable Africa. May our commitment to quality education remain unwavering. May our pursuit of knowledge remain fearless. May our collaborations across Africa grow stronger. And may the vision of equitable quality education, a strategy to promote long life learning for all, move from a conference theme to a lived reality. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished scholars and friends, the 15th Sustainable Education and Development Research Conference is hereby brought to a close. I wish you all safe travels, continued success in your research and professional endeavors, and I look forward to welcoming you again at future editions of CEDRIC. Long live CEDRIC, long live African scholarship, long live collaborative research, and long live an African driven by knowledge, innovation, and sustainable development. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Thank you so much, Professor Lawrence Atepo, the chairman of the scientific committee. I believe Prof's closing remark equally captured the reading of the communique. Thank you so much, Professor, once again. We now invite Dr. Violet Makuku, Director for the Global Quality Assurance Association, to please give us the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Normally, those people who are running around after all the awards, especially for us who got them, we forget the feet which were running around. But honestly, it was well captured in the closing remarks. And for me is to particularly thank the MC for the work that he has been doing. Honestly, he has been running up and down, up and these are the people mostly who are not acknowledged and recognized. The ladies at the back and all those behind the scenes. I just reiterate what was captured within the closing remarks. Our media people and those who were controlling the online and everybody, thank you so much for the opportunity. God bless you all. Professor Bamfo, thank you.
On this, thank you, Professor Bamfo. Thank you so much. We now invite Thank you so much, Prof. We please now invite Professor Sokoto to give us a closing prayer. We started with God, and God being so good, we have ended the program. It's only fair and proper to really acknowledge God for bringing us to a close. Thank you.
Good evening. Allahumma rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina azaban nar. We thank Almighty Allah for successful deliberation. And we pray for Almighty Allah to return our dignitaries, the participants, safely to their various destinations. God bless you all. Thank you.
One announcement for those who are interested in going for tour tomorrow, especially our international delegates. The tour is $50 or 600 Ghana cedis. You can see Professor Sufaya so that we can make the arrangement tonight. If not, the tour will be cancelled. So if you are interested to tour Accra, then please see Professor Sufaya. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much.